I'm Helen, and I am a daughter of a tiger mom. I know what you might be thinking, but this is not a tiger mom. This is. So, the term Asian tiger parenting is popularized because of the book Battle Hymn of the Tiger Mother, written by Amy Chua in 2011. The term might sound funny, but the concept is not far from reality. Tigers are powerful creatures, the tops of the animal food chain. When you hear about these animals, you tend to calm yourself in fear and intimidation. That's what tiger parents do too. They are strict, very strict, and they are very, very powerful. And because of that, the method is passed among generations in the Asian society because of its effectiveness in shaping the child the way their parents want their child to be. But because of that also, types of media usually connote Asian tiger parenting as something self-deprecating and unemotional. For those of you who do not experience this type of parenting and is curious enough to go on Google, this is a definition you might come across with. A mother who is overly strict with her child in order to foster an academically competitive spirit. This form of upbringing is intended to direct a child towards financially successful careers at a potential risk of feeling emotionally unfulfilled or socially inept. Urban Dictionary. Believe me, this definition is the general mindset of many people who experience Asian tiger parenting and the people who do not experience tiger parenting. I have to admit, growing up in a traditional Asian family wasn't easy. I had a lot of resentments to my parents sometimes because they do not give me the freedom of expression that I wanted to have. They taught that getting an A in every single subject is a must responsibility. Playing piano or violin are the only recreational options I'm allowed to choose, even though I do not really like them. Or to talk back, to fail, or acts of shame. Yes, my parents taught me that I have a family reputation to protect. But after 18 years, couple of brooding and couple of books, I realized why Asian parents do what they do. So today, I am here with you to share my experience of how I debunked the misconceptions about Asian tiger parenting. Since I was 7, my parents had told me that I need to get A's in every single subject. So, as a child, obviously, I didn't think a lot, and I did to fulfill my parents' expectations. But as I grow older, I ask myself, what is the use of getting such good grades besides getting into a good university? And at 15, I found a bit of my answers. I was introduced to Confucianism, which is dated back thousands of years ago. And these beliefs have been in our blood and in our culture. Confucius believes that every single knowledge that is earned must be used to achieve wisdom or the position society respects. And because of that, he paints his society full of scholars who learn as if there is not enough time, as if there is not a point to be missed. And also, I want to tell you that I am, like any normal teenager, is clueless of what she wants to do for the rest of her life. I thought I can be a designer. I can be an environmentalist. I can be an educator. I can be an entrepreneur. so many jobs with so many subjects to learn. And those subjects are so different. But then, this fear keeps going to my life. I was so confused, so I had to consult my parents. And my parents told me that you must be mature enough to be responsible for your own decisions. And it hit me. The misconceptions of Asian tiger parents that do not care about their child's aspiration. I think that tiger parents do care about their child's aspirations, because throughout the process, I learned that my parents pushing me to get A's is a way I can learn to be considerate about everything I learn. And my parents pushing me with such high expectations is a way that I learn to be ambitious and to be confident to overcome my obstacles. Habits can be formed in a couple of months. But something like ethics, characteristics such as perseverance, or the mentality to tackle challenges are the things that must be taught since birth. And that's why Asian tiger parents felt the responsibility to teach these kids about the foundations that would make their life successful. And I also have one question. I never forget how my parents would tell me those words and phrases that would make me feel incompetent. Like, you're not good enough. Why would they go to that extent so frequently? And it brings me to my next story. Every day, TED holiday, me and my family would go back to my hometown, which is Hanoi, meet my friends, my family friends, and my relatives. We usually start with this tradition called the Battle of the Brags. And which means that we put our child as subjects to our pretentious games. This is how their conversation would go. Parent A, my child just started piano at 5, and she learned every hard piece in just 2 days. Parent B, oh really? My son participates in the piano program from England. He receives A-grade certificates every year. Parent A, well, she has been in competitions before. And Parent B said back, my son has appeared on TV. Has your daughter appeared on TV? This is a demonstration of how a child would be used as a subject to their pretentious games. Because children are reflections of parental abilities and the living proofs of family noble background. And that's why parents would try their best to push every achievement at stake so the child's lack of ability and failure won't be pulled out by other people and get shamed. I'm not exaggerating. This is just a small part of what we experience in our Asian community on a daily basis. And it's kind of scary because Confucius is so into the emphasis of social titles and overachievement that we Asians built this society based on comparison, humiliation, and pride. But it is also to show you that even if your parents do not anger or sadden you, other people will. So your parents would rather be the first people to degrade you, so you would feel that you are mentally prepared for harsh criticisms instead of seeing you in your mid-20s, your mid-30s, shocked by by how society can be so cruel. And that's why Asian parents never want to harm their child emotionally. But all they want is to teach their child on how to be mentally strong. So whenever they go out there to the real world, which is so scary, they would overcome obstacles. Misconception number 3. Tiger parenting harms the relationship between the child and the parent. Hey, if I dislike my parents so badly, I would have not stand here in front of you guys talking about how good Asian parenting is. So, even though we in our family, and probably in other Asian tiger families, had a lot of conflicts, but simultaneously, we also treat with forgiveness. My mom usually does not let me go to hang out with my friends or go to parties. But I learned to appreciate that micromanagement on a daily basis. Just because for every single time she prohibits me to go to these parties or to go hang out with my friends, I have an extra time with my family. So maybe at 13, I would be crazy, so crazy, because my mom always tells me that I need to tell her where am I going, who am I going with, when am I coming back, and update her every single hour on what I'm doing. But when I get to 18, I would not have to tell my parents so. I would be able to go wherever I go and do whatever I can. But I'm not going to go home that much, as many as before. And even if I am not gossiping with my friends, I am here talking with my mother about her daily stories. Even if I am not walking to the mall, I am staying at home, eating dinner with my dad, who is super busy and only stays at home at least 3 days a week. And for every time I am not going to the arcade, I am at home playing charades with my brother. And those are such precious memories. My brother actually teaches me a lot about how I can love my parents more. Because every year, he would try his best to find the perfect gifts for my parents, at least once. And this year, he's planning to make a card of gratitude. Shh, don't tell my parents, it's a secret. But loving actions like these does not come from obligations or dislikes. It comes from true intentions and love. And my brother, at age 11, have understood so well why my parents do what they do. And they're tiger parents. So, what can you take out from this talk? Honestly, I don't know. Because I do not have the power to control your mind like an Asian tiger parent. Just kidding, you do. I am just this one girl on her senior year, experiencing my own type of tiger parenting, speaking from my own perspective. There are probably billions of children around the world who is experiencing this same type of parenting in a certain degree. That's why I plead for you to think and be more understanding of your parents' intentions. Because every type of education has its methods, its triumphs, its faults. And to end this talk, I have a confession to make. I am extremely scared because I imagine people denying my own personal opinions because of how many articles I've seen that talk negatively about tiger parenting. But I know from the bottom of my heart that I am willing to scrape off these negativities on the surface of tiger parenting and try to seek the true beauty behind it. So my question to you is, can you? Thank you.